This segment on the Metroplus show is about professions that are offbeat in nature. Moving on from the story of someone who is an art conservator, we have a traveling colorist. Now, the title baffled me when I first read about it. I had assumed him to be a painter of some sort, but when I visited colorist Kevin Shaw in his studio, I found him staring at a giant movie screen and silently working on his highly sophisticated work table. It was after this conversation that I realized what I had been conveniently ignoring in all the movies I had seen till date. Meet Kevin Shaw, who has been in the city for just over 2 weeks, working on a bilingual film 180. He could be called an unsung hero of the film's crew, as his job involves correcting and defining the colors in each shot to bring out the best from what normally would look bland. Kevin, who chanced upon this profession while he was a still photographer, laments on how there is absolutely no formal training available to become a colorist.
Well, it started with me doing an honours degree in photography, film and television. And from there I went out into the world thinking that I was going to be a stills photographer, working with magazines and so on. And the part of photography that I most enjoyed was working in the darkroom, started doing a lot of exhibition prints and things. And that led me into a commercial studio in London that was shooting film at that time. And from there I discovered this wonderful magical world of telecine that I'd never heard of before, which is just transferring film to video and color correcting it along the way. And that was the start, really. I started off as an assistant, worked my way through, started with music videos and doing commercials, and that led to all sorts of TV projects. And in the last, about the last 10 years, I've been working more on feature films.
Only after a close observation, one realizes the hard work involved in this job. His dexterous fingers work 12 hours a day, enhancing and correcting different shades, slight changes in skin tones, enhancing the sharpness of features, and maintaining a continuity in each scene are what Kevin's skills achieve in the frames. Always working against deadlines, Kevin takes a break only after long hours when the flickering lights hinder his output from being optimum.
Basically, I'm color grading the image. I'm using Film Master, which is a software-based color corrector running on a PC. We have a big digital cinema projector behind me so that we've got an emulation on the screen of digital cinema and also film print. So in this case, what we're starting off with is an image that's shot on film. It's been scanned, and what we have is what we call a log file, which is a very flat version that captures all of the material. In the film 180, we're using digital files, but it's also creating a log image, so it gives us a lot of spare information. And then the first thing that I do is I use a calibrated lookup table that emulates what a film print would look like. So you can see that adds right there, that adds quite a lot of contrast to the picture.
After having trotted around the globe and weaving his magic in movies like Step Up 3D and Monster, Kevin is busy with his first Indian project. Typically, color correcting a 3-hour-long Indian movie takes about a month, and Kevin is well aware of the factors that he has to keep in mind.
Indian cinema is very much its own genre. You know, it thrives on the formula of songs and drama and comedy and so on. You get a little bit of everything in the Indian movies. So we're looking for very colourful, very energetic images, but at the same time we want to change pace and so on. As a travelling colourist, as a freelance colourist, where I'm working in Los Angeles, I'm working in London, working in Australia and so on, you get unique cultural issues that you have to deal with. Skin tone, for example. Every location has a different idea of the perfect skin tone, and the skin tones themselves are different. Nobody seems to be happy with the skin they've got, so that's always a particular challenge, and you have to go along with feedback from the director of photography, the director, on exactly what they're trying to achieve and how you're getting it.
Kevin chuckles and says how if anyone manages to notice the work that he has done, he has not been doing a good job. Moving on, someone who works to be noticed and works really skillfully at that is Chaitanya Rao. Chaitanya Rao is a name that features in the list of premier fashion designers in Chennai. We headed to his signature store at Khadar Nawaz Khan Road to find out what's new. A look at Chaitanya Rao's sketches and you would not want to believe him when he smiles and says that he couldn't get a seat in NIFT. His story is of a young man reaching new heights every day, driven purely by passion.
My mom is an artist, her books used to lie around, so I think that's how I started sketching. So I think by 11, 12 I was sketching, and at that point fashion itself was a very, a novel concept. Nobody really knew too much about fashion institutes. I think there was only one institute in Delhi, NIFT. I applied, didn't get in, but I was still very keen on it.
Although Chaitanya admits that bridal collection is where the money is, he goes for a well-nuanced line with an accent on luxury. His maxi dresses have taken the fashion world by storm and continue to hold sway.
So I do a lot of evening wear dresses and things like that, which work very well for a lot of events which happen in the city. So this collection, predominantly I've used a lot of hand-painted fabrics, and they're in flat chiffon, so it's very delicate fabric, and the detailing is also, I've done a little bit of it's a cut work kind of embroidery which has been incorporated.
Femininity is at the core of all his designs, and although there is a lot of fabric in his craftsmanship, none of the dresses are voluminous. What is interesting to note is each collection starts with a unique inspiration.
For me, inspiration for a collection could be anything, to be honest. I mean, from my first collection which I showed at Lakme, the inspiration was The Silence of the Lambs. Or rather, it was a line from the movie which said, you covet what you see. So basically I wanted people to see the garments and covet it and hopefully buy it after that. So we had a lot of embroidery in the form of moths and things like that, as well as on the runway I'd made these metallic lamps and placed them on the runway as well. So that got me a lot of attention, and we had the opening garment had a mask and things like that. And for the next season it was inspired by a graphic novel, and the season after that it was just inspired by a sculpture which I had seen lying somewhere. So we went in for a more sculpted silhouette.
Chaitanya's work ranges from anywhere between 5,000 to 25,000. Having already made his name as one of the premier designers in Chennai, he is now heading towards greener pastures.
Right now, of course, I mean, I do styling for films as well. So I've got a couple of films which are wrapping up. So unfortunately, my store gets neglected. But I'll be looking at sending out these garments to the stores which I've ordered them. That's a couple of stores in Bombay, and there's one interest from somewhere out of the country. So we're trying to make that happen as well. So for the next 2 months, I'll be focusing on translating this collection and making it reach a wider market. And it's 10 years since I've had my label and store, so I'm hopefully looking at having my solo show in the city.
Chaitanya Rao has designed for Asim, Trisha, Jyotika and Simran, the leading ladies in Tamil filmdom, as well as actors such as Ajit, Vikram, Surya and Madhavan. He has also worked with leading ladies in Bollywood such as Amisha Patel, Priyanka Chopra, Isha Kopikar, Reema Sen and many more. He has started clothes for numerous ad films like ICICI, Coke, Pepsi, Spins and Gilbey's. Chaitanya has also designed outfits for many Miss India contestants like Shweta Jayashankar, Maheshwari, Trisha and others. That is a loaded resume, isn't it? We take a short break here. When we return, Memories of Madras.